World Around by Maria Cleary. Copyright Helbling Languages 2008.
Unit 1. Let's visit Great Britain. Page 9, Track 1. Listen and tick true or false.
Standard English is a general term for a form of written and spoken English that is considered the model for educated people. There are no set rules or vocabulary for Standard English because, unlike languages such as French, English does not have a governing body that decides proper usage. As a result, the concept of Standard English tends to be flexible. The issue is particularly complicated because English has become the most widely used language in the world, and therefore it is the language most subject to alteration by non-native speakers. I personally don't believe there is such a thing as Standard English, although some people argue that old usage guides of the BBC, otherwise known as Received Pronunciation, or RP, should be recognised as Standard English. RP is a form of pronunciation of the English language, usually defined as the educated spoken English of southeastern England. In the past, BBC reporters used to have to speak RP, but they don't have to do that now.
Page 11, Track 4. Listen and tick true or false.
Diana Spencer was born on the 1st of July 1961. Her father was an earl and her family was wealthy and important. She went to private school, then moved to London where she worked as a nanny and kindergarten assistant. When Diana was just 20, she married Prince Charles, who was 13 years older than her. More than 1 billion people all over the world watched the wedding on television. Diana became a figure of hope for many people, like a princess in a fairy tale. As soon as she got married, Princess Diana became involved in the royal family's official duties. She visited schools and charities, and opened hospitals and attended events. Princess Diana was warm and affectionate, and enjoyed being with ordinary people. And the ordinary people of Britain loved her. Her children, William and Harry, were the first royal children to go to school with other children. Diana made sure they had plenty of fun and laughs, and she brought them to fun fairs and adventure parks like any modern mum with her kids. She worked with many charities, and her actions and gestures, such as shaking hands with AIDS patients and lepers or walking through minefields, helped to raise public awareness about many issues, as well as get rid of taboos. However, Diana's marriage to Prince Charles was unhappy, and the couple separated in 1992 and divorced 4 years later. She lost her fairy tale image and became a real person when she admitted that she had suffered from real problems, such as depression and the eating disorder bulimia. But she continued her charity work and the public supported her. Many people blamed the royal family for Princess Diana's problems. Diana was killed in 1997 in a tragic car crash in Paris. The world was shocked, and her funeral was an emotional event watched by millions of people. She is still remembered as the Queen of People's Hearts. After her death, a special fund called the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund was set up. So far, it has raised more than £100 million for charities. In 2007, 10 years after Diana's death, her sons, William and Harry, organised a special memorial concert for her. The concert raised millions of pounds for Princess Diana's favourite charities.
Page 9, Track 2. Listen and write the countries under the flags.
St George's Cross is English and is a red cross on a white background. St Andrew's Cross is Scottish and is a white diagonal cross on a blue background. St Patrick's Cross is Irish and is a red diagonal cross on a white background.
Page 10, Track 3. Listen and tick.
I think teenagers need places to hang out. Small children have play areas, and older teenagers, 18 and 19-year-olds, can go to pubs and restaurants. But there is nowhere for teenagers like me to go.
There should be bicycle lanes so we can all cycle to school.
I think the government should be more caring and take a greater interest in children and the environment.
I think that they should work to stop child poverty in the UK, Europe and Africa.
I think they should publish weekly newsletters for children, provide information and show us that they really care about what we think. We need to know that we are an important part of their plans.
I think they should focus on climate change and global warming so that there will be a world for us in the future.
Page 12, Track 4. Listen, then write down the differences between the two schools.
I was a bit nervous leaving Wellington College. I wasn't sure if I'd fit into Altwood Comprehensive, but the welcome I got was fantastic. All the kids were really nice and good fun, and the atmosphere was brilliant. They all slagged me off a lot about having gone to Wellington, because it's a private school, but it was good fun. In comparison to Wellington, my new schoolmates and teachers are much more friendly. Most people at Wellington used to call me by my surname, Evans. I suppose I had got used to it, but now that I think back, it wasn't very friendly. Kids at Wellington were snobbier about things like clothes. They would slag you off if you didn't have designer clothes. Here, they make fun of your clothes if you look stupid. Everyone is into trainers and sports gear, and they don't care about all the famous designers. We study more or less the same subjects, and there's the same amount of work to do in both schools. Wellington had better sports facilities, and it had its own theatre and stuff like that, which was cool. The best thing about Altwood are the girls. There were girls in Wellington, but there were only about 50 to around 700 boys, and they kept very much to themselves. At Altwood, the ratio is about 50-50. We all hang around together and go to the cinema and stuff at the weekends. My social life is much better now.
Page 14, Track 5. Listen and fill in the table.
OK, Steve, can you tell me about your eating habits?
Well, I rarely have time for breakfast, as I'm always late in the morning. I usually grab a banana and a yoghurt drink as I'm running out the door to school at about 20 to 9. Lunch at school is at 12:30 and I'm starving by that time. I usually go to the school canteen with my mates. Typically, I have a burger or chicken and chips and a carton of milk. We only really have dinner together at the weekends because Mum and Dad both work until late, and Ken, my brother, and I couldn't be bothered cooking. Sometimes we cook a frozen pizza, or maybe open a tin of spaghetti or something, but usually we get a takeaway. I eat loads of snacks. I have a packet of crisps and a can of cola mid-morning. Then I snack on biscuits or chocolate as soon as I get hungry.
And what about you, Rachel?
I get up around 7:30 and have breakfast with the others. We usually have cereal and milk. Mum makes us a cooked breakfast at the weekend. I love that. I bring a packed lunch to school and I eat it in the canteen at 12:45 with my friends. We all have more or less the same thing. A tuna or ham sandwich, a juice, some fruit and a yoghurt. I usually buy a coffee and a chocolate bar after lunch as a treat. In the evenings, we usually eat together again. Mum cooks when she comes in from work. She usually makes pasta, as that's quick. Sometimes she just heats up a ready meal if she's tired or late. I eat a lot of fruit throughout the day. I don't have many snacks as I'm saving my money to buy an iPod.
And finally, Del.
I have a huge breakfast at about 8 o'clock. I take a bowl of cereal and then 3 or 4 slices of toast and a cup of tea. Dad and I have breakfast together as Mum goes out to work really early. Dad makes my lunch, a cheese roll, fruit and biscuits. I usually buy a can and a packet of crisps as well. I have lunch in the canteen in school. Lunch break is at 20 to 1, and we've got 40 minutes altogether. In the evening, I have dinner with Mum. She loves cooking, and we always have meat and veg. Sometimes she makes Italian or Indian food. We always leave a dinner for Dad to microwave when he comes in from work around 8.
Page 16, Track 6. Listen and tick true or false. Hello, Alice. What political issues are you most passionate about?
That's easy. Global warming. Today's politicians are not doing enough to stop global warming, and soon it will be too late. If we destroy the Earth, we have nowhere else to go. We must do everything we can to save our planet.
What is the biggest issue for young people in your constituency?
Young people want more things to do and more places to go. They need better transport to be able to get places. We live in a very rural area, and often there is very little to do. But it can be difficult and expensive for young people to travel to the bigger towns.
What do you hope to achieve while you're a member of the Youth Parliament?
I want to be a good and fair representative for the young people in my constituency. I would also like to put serious political pressure on the government and encourage people in power to consider some of the issues that will affect the young people in the future, such as global warming and the environment.
What is your future career ambition?
I would really like to be a politician. I feel that there are so many terrible things happening in the world that I have a duty to try and put some of them right. Of course, I'll need a career before politics. I'd like to study environmental sciences, but it's too early to say for certain. I've only just chosen my GCSE options. My favourite subject is music, but I'll keep that as a hobby.
Have you got a message for the government?
Take a lead on climate change and become a role model for the rest of the world. The evidence is there. We are destroying the planet, and we need to do something to stop that now.